Hello soulmates, let's recreate this beautiful blouse that Prudential is putting on. I'm just going to go straight to the point because this tutorial is going to take a while, so let's continue. This is me marking the starting line. So whatever measurement I'm taking, we have to start from this starting line. From there, I mark 3.5 inches for my neck width and 3.5 inches for the neck depth. Then I now mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 16 divided by 2. I have 8 inches. Then I went ahead to connect the neck width and the neck depth. On the shoulder measurements, I went down by 1 inch for our shoulder slant. Then I slant it all the way to the neck wideness. From there, guys, we're going to be taking the chest line, and how do you do that? Is your round bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So whatever you get, I'm going to start from the top line. I'm not starting from the shoulder slant. I'm going to start from the top line because sometimes you realize that when you start from the shoulder slant, your armhole becomes wider. Then I now square up the line. From there, I took my breast point of 11.75, my under bust of 16.75. Then I square the line. Then I take my waist measurement, my waist length of 19 inches. After taking the waist measurement, the next measurement will now be the hip. Now from the waist, I went down by 9 inches. That will serve as my hip length. Then I also square the line. So this is me just labeling them: the chest line, the breast point, the under bust, the waist length, and the hip. So for the back, I mark the same neck wideness of 3.5 inches. Then the depth of the back is 1 inch. Then I also mark my shoulder of 8 inches. And this is me connecting the neck depth of the back to the neck width. On the shoulder slants, I also use 1 inch. So we're going to use the same chest line we use for the front as the same chest line for the back. Then I rule the line. After that, the next measurement will be my back waist, because our back and our front waist length is not the same. So go ahead and take yours, whatever you have as your back waist length, you put it. So mine is 3 inches different. My front is 19, now my back is 16, because we are going to be using a bust dart technique. So from the back waist length, I now took my hip measurements of 9 inches. I hope you guys understand. Most of you that are familiar with my tutorial or that have been watching my tutorial, you already know how to do this. I also label. Then guys, I'm going to take my round bust measurement on my chest. My round bust is 44, divided by 4 is 11. Then I took my waist measurement. My waist is 35, divided by 4, we have 8.75. Now on the hip, I also took my hip measurement of 43 divided by 4. So these are all the lines that are being connected. Then I'm going to put my shoulder measurement on my chest so I can get a straight line. Afterwards, from the shoulder slant to the chest line, whatever I have there, I'm going to divide it by 2. Then I get the midpoint. Then I went in by 0.35. So I'm going to take my curve ruler and I'll connect the 3 together. That's the shoulder slant to the mid of the armhole and to my bust. So I'll do the same thing for the back. I'll put my bust measurement, the shoulder measurement. On the waist, I also put my waist measurement. On the hip, I also put my hip measurement. So this is me just extending the hip line so it can accommodate my hip. Then I'll go ahead to roll all the lines. I'll also do the same thing for the armhole. You divide what you have left by 2, get the midpoint. Now on this one I went in by 0.1. I didn't do so. The front is 0.3, the back is 0.1 because our back is always wider than the front. Now our armhole is ready. So to get the back dart, whatever you have from the center of the back to the shoulder line, divide it by 2. So you put it on your waistline and your hip line. Since it is 8 divided by 2 is 4, then I rule it all the way to the hip line. Now to get our dart, for the front, you measure your bust radius. How do you get your bust radius? Put your tape on your nipple and you measure it to your under bust. Whatever you have there is your bust radius. So mine is 5 inches. So I put the 5 on my breast point, on my waist, and on my hip. Then I now connect it. So guys, this is me taking my compass. I want to show you guys something, how I got my under bust. Now I put my compass on my breast point, the radius, and I extend it to the center front. Then you just rule it like that. So when you rule, it will tell you your exact under bust. If you do not know your under bust length, your radius will tell you your under bust. So I already know mine. That was why I marked my under bust of 16.75 initially when we were putting our vertical measurements. So on the breast point, I added 0.25. On the hip, I added 0.25, and I'm going to be ruling it because we'll be doing a waist snatching technique. On the back, I also put 0.25 there, and on the hip, I also put 0.25. Now I'm just trying to make this pattern very easy for you guys. So after ruling it, now the difference between my front and my back is 3 inches, right? On the breast point, you are going to go down by that 3 inches line and you are going to connect it. Can you see the way I connect it? Connect it to your breast point. So let us tighten our waist. Now the distance from your waistline to where you see my tape touching, you measure it. Mine is 2.35. The back is also 2.3. Then when you plot it together, that will give you 4.6. Now that 4.6, you are going to take your tape and you are going to divide it by 6. That's the first one is into 2, divide by 2 again, that's 4. Then you divide by 2 again, that will be 6. I hope you guys understand. If you don't understand, watch this process again. So whatever you have there becomes your dart intake. You put it on both sides. Now because we shear it into 6, the front we have 3 darts, the back we have 3 darts. Can you see it? So that's the third one. Then you now connect to your chest line of the back. Then you go down by 6 inches from the waistline for both front and back, and you also connect your darts to it. Now for the third one, we are going to connect it to the 0.25 with a broken line or a dotted line. Yeah, you just connect like that. Now you go to the front and you do the same thing. Connect like that with a broken line, and you also connect like that with a broken line. So for the front, you also go down by 6 inches from the waistline and you connect your darts. So guys, if you are enjoying this tutorial, kindly give me a like now, please. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Then to tighten our back to avoid zip bulge, I went in by 1/2 inch. You just connect it to your chest line. You go down by 6 inches and you also roll it down. That's to avoid any zip bulge. So let's go over it again. We share our waist, our dart into 6. Those are the 6, 3 for the back and 3 for the front. Now guys, we are going to close our darts. So you form a crease line on your breast points, just the way you see me doing like that. Form a crease line, then you place your hand on the breast points, then you now fold the paper. Can you see it? You fold the paper. Make sure your cup line blend together. Then you now take your ruler. While it is closed, you place it on the chest line and on the waist, and you are going to roll the line. So this is me using a pencil. I don't want too many uneven lines. I now take my tracing wheel and I just roll it like that. When I open it, I'm the only one that can see the dotted lines, but you just take your pencil and you connect it. That is just to replace whatever dart shortage you have if you are cutting your paper. Now guys, we are going to be doing a contour now. This is a 25% contour. You divide your shoulder, what you have left from your neck wideness to your shoulder, divide it by 2, and you connect it to your breast point. So when you connect to your breast point, you are going to slit your paper now. So you slit your paper all the way to the waist and you stop. I've got so many requests where people tell me, please teach us the 25% contour. Now this is it guys. So you also slit your mid of your shoulder to your breast point and you stop. Can you see it? Then you now close your dart. So when you close your dart, you're going to use your tape to secure it down. So when you secure it down, now your shoulder is wide open. So whatever you have in between your shoulder, you're going to divide it by 4. From one shoulder slant to the other, get the measurement there, you divide by 4. So when you divide by 4, you place it just the way you see me doing. You're going to put the measurement there. Then from the shoulder line, we are going to replace it back. So measure it and replace it back. So after that, you take your ruler and you are going to connect from that to the breast points. When you connect, now we are going to be forming the princess dart now. So from the mid of your armhole line, go down by 1.5. So in total I have 5.5. It is okay for me. Then you take your, then before we form the princess dart, let us contour our under bust. Now I'm using 0.5 on both sides of the under bust. Then I'll connect it to the breast point. Now bear in mind that because I'm busty, and that's why I use 0.5. Some people you can use 0.75, but for now let's do the 0.5. Later on other tutorials I'll teach you how to get more than that. Then I take my curve ruler and I'm going to be connecting. Now your ruler is going to touch the 3 points from the 1.5 you went down on your mid of your armhole, then to the 25% contour and to the line leading to your under bust. Can you see it? So that is just to form your princess dart. Then you go ahead and remove your tape so you can close your shoulder. So when you remove it, in order for you to close your shoulder, you have to open up the midpoint of your dart. So when you open it up, it gives you easy access for you to close your shoulder. So you place it inside and you now close your shoulder. So I'm going to be using my pin to hold it down for now. Then you're going to blend your shoulder now to the 25% you replaced. You replace it back. Then you take your curve ruler and you're going to blend it into your armhole. Now watch the way I'm blending it. I just blend it close to the end of my breast point. So you blend it like that and your armhole is ready. So guys, after that we are going to continue. Now if you notice the top is not a fitted top on the hip area, so I'm going to add 1.5 to the back and 1.5 to the front. Then from the waist, I'm just going to use my curve ruler to give it that curve. I'll do the same thing for the back as well. Now my paper is not much, that is why the hip of the front and back is touching each other. So you extend it that way. After that, you are going to measure the length of your blouse. If the length is not long enough, you would increase it. Then on the side I went up by 2 inches. You can do 1.5 if you don't want it too curvy. Then the back also, I also increased the back by 1 inch. So this actually depends on you, whatever length you want your top to be. Yeah, you go ahead and you do that. So I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect them together. After that guys, I'm going to just extend the dart line to the length of the top. I'll do the same thing for the back. We are pretty much done. Yeah, so I'm going to also tighten this back to also avoid any back bulge. If you notice prudential back, it is very balanced. So I went up by 0.25 on the waist line, that is now half in total. Then I connect it to the distance. So we are cutting right now. So watch the way I cut, guys. So this is me cutting from the neck to the shoulder to that part. Then I'm going to cut the center front. So when you cut it, we have center front, you cut on fold, then you close up your darts so you can cut the side. You're going to use your tape to hold it down. Then this is me cutting it off. Then I'm removing the darts. Now this pattern is without sewing allowance. It is when I'm cutting on my fabric that will add maybe 2 inches or 1.5 sewing allowance. Then on all the sides I'll add half inch for joining. So I am cutting the back also. So this is me cutting the back as well. Now I'm going to remove the zip bulge. So guys, another thing is you can decide to leave your back like this straight, you just sew your darts, or you can also take it to the midpoint of your shoulder and you cut it. Then if you want a princess dart also for your back, you're going to also do like this. Now when I checked credentials on, there was a princess dart on the back, so I'm going to put in princess dart here also. So this is me just measuring where the front is. So I'm going to get the same line there, and I'm going to be using my curve ruler. Now let me tell you guys something. I prefer leaving my back straight like this without giving it the princess dart, or I take it to the midpoint of the shoulder. But because of the style we are recreating, I'm just showing you this. Now you just use your curve ruler to blend it properly so that your back will not have that bulge. Now you are going to be cutting it off. So you remove the darts also. You're going to remove the back darts. So remember to add sewing allowance to your pattern, but don't worry, this is the drafting. The sewing tutorial will be coming up shortly. I'm going to show you guys. So now I'm going to close that dart. Yeah, I'm going to close it so that the back can be very firm. When you close it, you also close the other side. It is not entering the side seam. Just close it. This is the end of the tutorial. Bye.